Welcome to the Hoop Dodging Podcast Season 2, brought to you by the Bayou Citian, and we are in the year 2025, if you can believe it. When you speak about the pandemic that was started in 25 years ago, welcome and thank you for listening. My name is Jesus Acevedo Jr., and I'm joined by the Zodiac GM. How are you, Zodiac?
How's it going? Happy New Year's, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing? How are you enjoying this abnormally cold Houston cold weather that just came in?
Right. It's gonna be like this for the next couple of weeks. It's different, but exciting.
Different but exciting. You know, and do you know what else is exciting? This year, this NBA season is the Houston Rockets. You know, they were my surprise team of the year, and so far they have been the surprise with how consistent they've been, and you know their record speaks for themselves. You know, they're 23-12. You know, but even now, what I wanted to speak to you about, Zodiac, is they just had a shift in synergy, although not really, right? Because, you know, Tari Eason got hurt. He's a Taurus, more of a fake sign, right? In his place is Amin Thompson, who's a Cancer, correct? So he's more...
Yeah. Tari Eason and Jabari Smith, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Which
Smith,
both are Tauruses.
Which both are Tauruses, right? But I'm talking about Jabari Smith in the starting line. I'm taking him off and putting Amin Thompson. You know, What does that do for the synergy of this team? And I have a feeling that you're about to tell us that it helps Jalen Green. So go ahead, let us know.
It does help Jalen Green, yes. Jabari Smith, even though he's talented and everything, it just doesn't fit as far as for synergy-wise with the team. But, you know, it doesn't mean that it's terrible or anything like that. It's just a synergy fit. That's all it is. So this makes Jalen Green a little bit more comfortable in a sense. So the only outlier, in a sense, would be someone like Fred VanVleet running the point. But him being immutable signs, it's, you know, still can make it work. But synergy upgrade with Amin Thompson's plus his skill set.
What's Amin's sign? Cancer, right?
He's an Amin Thompson's an Aquarius. With the Capricorn moon, same as Jalen Green. So they have the same exact sun moon combination, which fits him very, very well, along with Sengun. But it's a fixed dominant lineup again, you know. But
right. Yeah, so what I'm interested to see is because this is one game, right? Let's not blow it out of proportion. It was one game, a good game against a good opponent. What does this look like when Jabari comes back? Do you feel there's enough signs where the bench could have synergy, like including Jabari Smith?
Oh, so you're talking about putting Jabari in the bench?
Right, coming off the bench.
I don't know. Well, right offhand, I don't think Ime is going to do that. Him being a fixed sign of a Leo, I doubt it. He's stuck with his ways, right? So I doubt that's going to happen. But if he does so happen to go to the bench, it could help. And the reason why, because you know, if you're taking Jabari off the bench along with Eason, you put in those two along with Cam Whitmore, even Jeff Green, you know, if he plays his minutes, and Adams. Don't forget Adams, man. So those four I just mentioned, they're all compatible amongst each other. So they can have a little rotation where, you know, 4 comes out, 4 comes in type of thing, and leave Fred VanVleet in there, and then let that unit run in a sense. And something like that could work. But ideally, I think overall, just observing the Rockets, Ime Udoka, you just got to give it to him, man. He's just really, really good with a lot of these rotational setups. And the thing is, they get a lot of their energy, their DNA from Ime Udoka, that hard-nosed type of, you know, old school type of basketball. So, you know, and he got the energies for that. Fixed signs are sort of, they're built that way. They get the job done. Remember that. They get the job done no matter what, at what cost. Even if he has to throw down somebody, you know, or anything like that, get suspended, get into fights. That's just the way the grit is, the nature of a fixed energy, sort of like no matter what, we're going to get it done and to completion. So that's the type of energy that the Rockets bring. I feel like they're just one energy away from becoming elite, you know, to where it's like, okay, this team is for real now, you know.
I think it also wanted to, before we get to our first topic, because it's just a little bonus topic for you faithful listeners. You know, Cam Whitmore, I believe it was last week, you know, after he had a good game, 18 points, you know, he spoke and he said that he wasn't happy, you know, more or less, right? He was saying his frustrations to the media. And it was interesting how Ime responded. He said that he supported him doing that. That he said Cam knows what he needs to do to get all those more minutes. So I found that very interesting how he responded and how he dealt with that. What can you tell us? Like is that because of his fixed sign, because of his deal? I think that's more to where his Gemini Moon came in, right?
Yeah,
He knew just
Geminis
what
know
to
how to
say.
talk. Yeah.
He knew just what to say.
Yeah, Geminis are excellent communicators, and Ime has that. It's just being filtered through his Leo persona, right? So yeah, he knows the right things to say, and he has a very clever way of saying it to where it doesn't really make too offensive, But it's just enough to get the point across, and yeah, Cam Whitmore said that. I mean, he is a double cardinal energy that's sort of aggressive. That I'm me, like I'm the one that can lead a team, and that's the energy that's burning right now on the bench, which is Cam Whitmore. Imagine someone, which is a great thing. It's just that some energies you have to kind of understand that, and there's nothing. Some energies may look at it the wrong way. Oh, he's selfish or this and that, but no. As long as you understand that energy combination that Cam Whitmore possesses, use it to your advantage. They can find ways to utilize that energy in an effective way where he can lead a squad, a unit or whatever. Just think of putting LeBron James on the bench. Think of Dame Lillard on the bench. Those are energies that are double cardinals, and you can just expect them to say something because they're like, you know what, I'm here to lead, not to be on the bench type of energy. But you can, as long as you channel it the right way. The coach Udoka, I feel like, has that. He's a little bit more tougher in a sense, but they'll figure it out. So
they'll figure it out. And you know who else is trying to figure it out? Zodiac is the Phoenix Suns. And look, while I said that the Houston Rockets were going to be the surprising team of the season, I also said the Suns were going to win the championship, and that does not look all too well right now. So let me tell you, right? It's my second year picking the Suns to do really well in the season, and the second year so far, that they haven't lived up to that billing, right? And so much so that Coach Bud made a change. He put Bradley Beal and Jerkic. He moved them to the bench. And tonight, Monday night, was the first time we saw that. And Bradley Beal went off. Bradley Beal scored 25 points off the bench to help the Suns beat the 76ers 109-99. And look, it just, I wanted to get from you, what does this change in the starting lineup do synergy wise for the Phoenix Suns? And do you feel that the players that Beal was playing with off the bench helped his synergy, and that's what led to the 25 points?
Yeah, there's two scenarios I can think of right offhand. Like, think of the Ginobili situation when he was with the championship Spurs. So he came off the bench, but the reason why he came off the bench, he was that off energy away from Tim Duncan and Tony Parker. They were both Taurus. So Taurus is opposite of a Leo, right? So what Coach Pop did was, hey, let's split them up. And have you noticed look at his career. I mean, he's only started like 300 career games out of 1,000, right? I'm talking about Ginobili, but he was effective in that role, right? Because you can put him to lead that squad. Think of that scenario similar to what the Suns are facing, right? So now he's sort of splitting that energies between. I'm thinking of Kevin Durant in particular, because him being a Libra cardinal energy, and Bradley Beal, they're both cardinal energies. Another scenario to think of that is when Miami went through a rough patch whenever they built that big three. Think of it a cardinal energy in LeBron James, and Dwayne Wade was also a cardinal energy, both Capricorns, by the way. But not that. I was mainly thinking of Chris Bosh. Do you remember the fit that Chris Bosh was with, him being an Aries, also a cardinal? It was sort of odd. The first 10 games they played, everyone around, they were like, they're not playing as good as we thought they were, because they were struggling, right? They're trying to get it going. So usually when it's like that, whenever you have two cardinal energies trying to battle that I'm the one that can lead, one has to sacrifice. Right. They have to know their role. They have to figure out, hey, it's either LeBron James or it's going to be me. But in that case, LeBron James, obviously, right? So, Chris Bosh took a step back, and it ended up being a good thing. That's what they need to do with the Phoenix Suns, because if you put them on the court together, it's just two strong cardinal leader type energies that's trying to take over, right? So you move them to the bench. That's going to be helpful, because now if you rest Kevin Durant, you can actually put in Beal and lead a squad where he can be sort of like the go-to guy. And the reason why, because Booker, is sort of that him having that Gemini moon. It's a little bit more accepting to adaptation, so it helps in that sense. But if you put them all three together, I'll be honest with you, even when I had that lineup with Jones in there, their synergy, when I first saw it, I was like, man, this is going to be a really, really strong synergy, because it was that 4-1 type of energy. But if you look at it, take a step back, you have to look at some of these double cardinal type of energies or double Taurus where it does conflict. That one was something that kind of I overlooked, mainly because the talent was strong enough. And I feel like this team still is a very, very good team because they have a strong talent and they can overcome that, So this could be a scary thing for the Phoenix Suns, in a good way, for opposing teams, because wow, Bradley Beal coming off the bench.
100%.
Wow,
100%. No, wait, did you say that Beal has a Gemini moon?
No, Booker has a Gemini moon. So
Booker has a
Booker
Gemini moon. Okay.
is a Scorpio with a Gemini moon. Now Beal, he is a Cancer with a Scorpio moon, right? And Kevin Durant is a Libra with a Taurus moon. So both of their moons are sort of like that stubborn, fixed energy, in a sense where, if they want to lead, because Kevin Durant, he's gonna be the alpha, the A1 for sure. Right. And that's sort of his energy type. His mentality is like that, And so is Bradley Beal, But if Bradley Beal could take a step back and kind of say, okay, I'm moving to the bench, let me accept that. If he can accept that, that's a good thing. But if he can't,
look,
it's not a good thing.
If Beal accepts that role, the Suns are a more dangerous team. Just knowing that you have Bradley, he's like instant offense off the bench. He's gonna be most often going against the second unit from their team. And look, just because he's coming off the bench doesn't mean that he's not gonna not finish the game, right? We could definitely see him finishing the game. But look, the Phoenix Suns are 16 and 18. They aren't buried, right? There's still a lot of season left to play. I think it's important that Coach Bud made this move right now. He should have made it early in the season, but fine, start the new year fresh, right? Hey, let's change. Let's make a change. Let's make a sudden change. And I think they still have from here to the All-Star game to see, does this work before they can think about possible trade scenarios? Because one of the trade rumors that is going crazy off the rumor mill is Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat are headed for a divorce, Zodiac, and the Phoenix Suns are a team that has been rumored. So we'll start there with Jimmy Butler and the Heat first. We'll get to the Suns and how he may fit. But from an astrological point, how did you see this playing out? Like, is it just Jimmy Butler, his sign, he just had enough? And and talk to me about Pat Riley, because I know he has a lot to do with this Jimmy Butler and Heat divorce.
So Pat Riley is a Pisces with a Gemini moon, same exact sun moon combination as Draymond Green. So they're very open-minded, whatever they have in their mind, they'll pretty much say without filters. So there's certain things that can offend an energy like, and actually any energy in matter of fact. So when he did make that comment about Jimmy Butler was just shut up and play type of thing. It is a little bit hard-nosed, tough, old school type thing to say, but my assumption is Butler took it the wrong way, and at least from what I've read. But
what's his sign? What's Jimmy?
Jimmy is a Virgo with a Pisces moon, so he's a double mutable sign. So the thing about Virgos are an Earth sign, right? So everything is a business decision to them, right? So what I feel Butler's going through right now is that he senses the team is not good enough right now, right? It's either doesn't have talent.
Pause right there, because you tweeted out something perfect relating to where you're at right now. We saw another Virgo take the same route in our hometown with the Houston Rockets. Similar press conference, right? Also a right. Virgo.
You're right, James Harden. So that's back to the Virgo thing. They everything's a business decision. So, and they pay attention to detail. They see things, a lot of things. So, on the surface, we probably don't think they see different things than what they do, but Virgos pay attention to everything, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If they do feel that there's something off, or they feel like something's not going right to where it benefits them to be in a winning situation, they'll bring it to a standpoint. And that's what Harden did when he got frustrated. And the negative thing about Virgos is that when they're not feeling it, they're very critical. They critique to the extreme every pinpoint detail of what's wrong. That's just a thing about Virgos, right? And when Harden did that, I mean, he pretty much said, "Hey, this team's not good enough," and that's similar. It's ironic because it's similar to
Yep.
what Jimmy Butler is kind of saying, you know. So he's saying the same
And
thing.
look,
Mm-hmm.
and let's be honest. Jimmy has earned the right to ask for more money, right? I mean, he took the Heat to the finals twice in a 4-year span. From the 2019-2020 season to the 2022-2023 season, Butler led the Heat to the finals twice and the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times. I mean, and going to Pat Riley's old school mentality, in the old school, they would have rewarded a player like that, wouldn't they have?
You're right.
So I find that interesting that Pat Riley still has that old school mentality in some matters, but has a new way when it comes to how he spends the team's money. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me to me, I feel that's why Jimmy feels hurt. Because Virgos also feel that pain a lot, right? So I think he feels hurt. He's like, I put in 4 good years here. Like he's been there with them more, right? But I mean, that's a good 4-year span for any player, right? I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
if you top that up with a title, that'd probably be better. But I mean, 2 finals run and 3 conference finals in 4 years. So I feel that's where he's just like he's out, like.
Yeah, I feel with Butler, the thing with Butler, him being a double mutable signs, I feel like he is an energy type that can be swayed to stay. Yeah, believe it or not. But I do feel like if there's a major change, and I think a change something, this is just hypothetical thinking, if somehow, some way, if they were to keep Butler and it were able to add a player like Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine, either or
Really?
someone as that stature, right? Butler's gonna stay because it's just the way he is. The thing with Virgos, they can change their mind, but you just have to provide the facts, provide the information. Hey, here's Butler. Here's a player that can help. He's a caliber that can help us, and of course they're gonna understand what they bring to the table, right? Someone like Zach LaVine is another because they're elite talent still. I mean, Bradley Beal's still an elite player, right? So
Right.
I mean, consider some may say otherwise, but they're still elite players. But that's
Elite
something that
players,
can
but I
convene.
think I think
Mm-hmm.
I think there's levels of this elite because I wouldn't put Bradley
Yes.
Beal on Jimmy Butler's level for sure. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the teams that Jimmy took to the finals, I mean, no disrespect to them, but more talented teams haven't made the finals,
You're
Um,
right. You're
but
right.
with that said, final note on Jimmy Butler and the Heat. If he were to be traded, you said what could happen if they could play, but who do you see out from the NBA who you think could fit Jimmy best? I know I've seen you've tweeted out that the Grizzlies are a team. You said that the Suns are a possible team that has good synergy. But who do you think he would fit in best synergy wise?
Synergy wise, I think the first thing I kind of look at, I want to see whose the relationship is with the coach, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the coach and also obviously the core players and the team overall. The Grizzlies, in my opinion, the Grizzlies or even Denver Nuggets are probably the best fit for Jimmy Butler to win
Whoa.
a championship or even get that far, right?
Yeah.
Because the 2 teams I just mentioned, both coaches are actual Virgos as well, Mike Malone and Taylor Jenkins, right? So Butler being a Virgo, the thing with Virgos are hard workers, but they appreciate another energy that's sort of similar like them, right? And then that's the type of coach energy that the two teams in Denver and also Memphis have, right? So not only that, a team like Memphis Grizzlies in particular, their synergy is already strong as a whole. I mean, you look up and down the roster, they're there, and
Which is why they're so damn good.
yeah, there's no surprise that they're up there, because I mean, a lot of people don't even see that, but they are a very strong synergy team. So consider this: if you was to join a team like Memphis, okay, now the key player that I feel like that has to stay would be Desmond Bane, because if Desmond Bane goes back in exchange for Butler, then there's going to be a ripple effect and synergy downgrade for the Memphis Grizzlies. So the key is to keep Bane. If they can keep Bane and add Butler to the mix along with Edie, Jaren Jackson, um, even Wells, Pippen Jr., John Moran, obviously, they are pretty much upgrading a position that's adding talent and experience to the table, and that is a big deal. And that's getting you to like, hey, we're a strong synergy team, but hey, we have a little bit of talent on our way too. So that's even scarier, and experience to top that, and they have the youth. I mean, it will just be a huge upgrade for Memphis, which is already a very, very strong synergy
team.
Same thing, similar to Denver. Denver is a little bit slightly lower in terms of synergy than Memphis, but Denver will bring that same effect to if Butler was to join, and also the key player in that team that needs to stay would be Porter Jr. So that's a key player right there. I mean, if Porter Jr. goes back, in a trade or whatever, then that's the same thing. It's going to be a ripple effect downgrade in synergy. But with the Phoenix Suns, it's more of neutral. And the reason why, because his synergy with the coach is not the best, right? Coach Bud being a Leo and then Butler being a Virgo, that energy is not the best. I look at that as a big deal because, if you're a player with Butler's caliber, I mean, you already know what you're gonna do, right? You know what I'm saying? You want to have a strong connection with your coach. Butler actually already has that with Eric Spoelstra. He does. And that's part of the reason why they've been successful in the last, 4 or 5 years, right? They've been to the finals because of that strong synergy. You need that. I feel like championship teams need to have their 1A or 1-2 players have a very strong connection with the coach. That's what's lacking if he was to join the Phoenix Suns. But he will have a strong connection with Booker, Nurkic if he stays, but opposite energy from Durant as well. So those are two things that's kind of like, okay, it's a hit and miss, but of course you're adding talent, you're adding experience, but then again, that alone can help you win as well. But, you kind of take it as it is.
Well, we're going to stay talking about the trade rumors because the name that has been also being floated around is Cam Johnson, and just like with Jimmy Butler, we're going to see what happens with Cam Johnson. But what are some teams that you feel Cam Johnson could help? Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets spent the first part of his career with the Phoenix Suns, went to an NBA Finals with the Suns, actually. And I mean, 20 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, that's, I'm pretty sure a lot of playoff contenders could use a player like that. Who do you feel he would fit? He's a Pisces, so what team would he fit?
I'll explain a little bit with Cam Johnson. So Johnson's a Pisces with a Leo moon. This is a big deal. The reason why is because his energy type is the perfect quote unquote role player energy that can help a lot of teams. So he's a little bit more diverse and a little bit more easily to blend into different scenarios because of his energy type. He's not really that cardinal energy where he's going to step in and be like, oh, I want to lead. This is my energy. It's a little bit different for, say, someone like Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard, you kind of have to build a team around him to make it work. Whereas Cam Johnson, you can put him in any situation and he'll fit in because that's the type of energy he brings. That Leo moon energy, that Pisces mutable core personality will help a team. I believe it or not, similar to the Denver Nuggets, Memphis Grizzlies, Thunder. I heard Thunder is actually in the mix. Thunder, oh my God! If they were to get someone like Cam Johnson, that's another upgrade for an already strong synergy team for them as well.
You know what? Wait a minute. So if the Thunder add Cam, look, Thunder are stocked with picks,
right,
and what we were reading. Who was it? I think Brian Windhurst, or he reported that the Nets won a bigger haul than what they got for Dennis Schroeder. So they're looking at possibly at least 1 first-round pick. And look, we know Thunder are stockpiling those picks. So you're saying that? Can you imagine Cam Johnson on this Rockets? I mean, on this OKC Thunder team off the bench, most likely, right? That is wow. But would that synergy mesh?
Yes, because if you look up and down their rotation, they use about 7 to 8 man rotation most of the time, and at least 5 of them are compatible to Shea, right? So Shea is sort of like their primary, go-to guy. He has a strong connection with the head coach. So Shea's a Cancer, the head coach is a Pisces. That Pisces Cancer mix is a very good connection. But then Holmgren and Hartenstein, they're both Tauruses, so that those two also connect very well with Shea and also the head coach. And then you have I can't think of Luke Caruso.
Caruso.
Yeah, Caruso is a Pisces. Lou Dort is actually an Aries cusp. So he's an Aries cusp. Aries Taurus cup. So that's also another energy that's compatible. So the one is a little bit an outlier, which still makes it work because the majority of the core unit is compatible to the head coach is Williams. So Williams is that fire energy, but it still makes it work because it's just mainly him. His usually teams that have that when it's like one or even two, depending on the role capacity, their role influence to the team. Usually that still works out. But if it's a heavier role influence to the team, then it sort of sets off that imbalance. But in this case, you add Cam Johnson to the mix. Wow, even better for them.
I can't. It will seem unfair, and we're gonna stay with the OKC Thunder. They're our last topic, because adding Cam Johnson to this team was, I'm just gonna say, they're the best team in the NBA right now. Simple as that. And on top of that, they have the MVP of the season so far in my mind. In Shea, I just think what he's doing and leading this. Let's remember, this is still a young team, right? He's the veteran of this group, and he's 27, I think. 28.
Wow.
If that. So, it just speaks to that franchise. Let's be honest. We need to stand up and give them an applause. The OKC Thunder are a franchise that knows how to play, not just on the court but off the court, right? In the rooms and in the meeting rooms, making deals, wheeling and dealing. So OKC Thunder are an example of what every small market team should aim to be. The OKC Thunder are the example. Because here's the thing also about the Oklahoma City Thunder that I respect. There's always fans at the game. People would argue, what else is there to do in Oklahoma City, right? But still, this team is putting on a show. They support, but they're putting on a show. And I think some thought maybe they were going to regress a bit with Chet Holmgren's injury. And I knew from the beginning you were one of the ones that you were like, no, they're not going to regress. And the reason why, exactly. And here's where I'm going to put a little bit of my astrology facts on. So Chet Holmgren is a Taurus, right? He's out. His replacement, Hartenstein, which you said earlier, he's a Taurus, right? So they didn't lose nothing synergy-wise. It's still the same synergy now. Different talent, right? Chet and Isaiah are different talent. But I think because the synergy was still there, I didn't think they affected that much. If anything, it just affected a little bit of the offense. They have to kind of like learn how to play a little bit different. Yes, adjust. But the synergy was still there, and you see it. Like, it feels like they haven't missed a step. It's just like players are playing just a bit differently, to make up, because Chet is a huge talent, right? That's what you're always talking about. It's synergy, but talent too. He's a huge talent. So I think that's why this team hasn't faltered as much. They've had some losses, obviously, right? But to me, they're the best team in the league. Zodiac.
And they have low key players, Isaiah Joe. That these players I've all mentioned. They're all compatible to Shea, Caruso, Chet Holmgren, Ihart, and this is a player like Aaron Wiggins, for example, Capricorn, compatible to those group, right? You look at Cason Wallace, Scorpio, very compatible to that group as well. Isaiah Joe, Cancer, very compatible to a group. So they have these low key players that no one really talks about, but man, their synergy's strong. It's very, very strong because they're sort of like that under the radar, sneaky good team that can play defense, that can shoot, and they have the right pieces. And if anything, this team they can always add on talent like Cam Johnson, and he does fit this squad very, very well. So also consider Sam Presti being a Scorpio. Yes. I mean, look at the teams he's built over the years. Remember when Kevin Durant was in town and they had the Harden days. I mean, if you go back and look at that 2011 to 13 season. They had a strong synergy lineup as well. Remember when Kendrick Perkins was there? I mean, Adams was there. That unit was strong. Cephalosha. I mean, they had that 4-1 unit. I was looking at it the other day, and then even when Paul George came into town, and then they also had a strong unit when Chris Paul was there as well. So he's always built the right team, and they so happen to have a strong synergy as well. I don't know if that's a coincidence, or
what are you trying to say, Zodiac? What are you trying to say?
Or just a good, you got to give it to them. They've done their homework and they've picked up. There was a few questionable picks like Josh Giddey, but guess what? He's no longer there because Josh Giddey don't even fit their synergy, right? But he's with Chicago now. But
it sounds like you're telling me that Sam Presti, it's all about astrology too, for having so many teams have synergy.
Possibly, but maybe not. But I don't know, because the Josh Giddey one was a little bit questionable for me when they got him. Yeah. But hey, maybe I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but the team that he's building is a very, very strong synergy team. So, you just have to give it up to him, and he's been doing this for a while. So.
There he goes. Well, that is our first episode of 2025. Any final words, Zodiac?
Follow us on Twitter X, the Zodiac GM, and Hoopstrology.
And follow me, Jesus_Acevedo Jr., and follow the Bayesidian. And don't forget to subscribe. See ya.